If you guys have followed this channel for a while, you would know I am not the biggest fan of this edge class in the 2024 NFL Draft. It is very top heavy, with 3 guys who I think are surefire top 20 picks, and then there's a bit of a dip in my opinion. One guy who has a lot of people really high on, and who they think has quite a bit of potential, is Ohio State edge rusher jttuimoloau. A player who is still putting it all together, but has some elite high upside reps. But where does he ultimately get taken? That is what we will be going over in today's video. But hey guys, with the New Year's weekend kicking off, I have a ton of these videos going up over the next 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned for those. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and let's take a closer look at JT. Tuimoloau really showcased some of his talent in 2022. He had 17 hurries, 8 hits, and 7 sacks on the season for the Buckeyes, and he looked like a guy who could be an elite pass rusher at the next level. In 2023, his numbers look even better, and they really stand out yet again. He put up 28 hurries, 3 hits, and 4 sacks in the season, and was a very big part of a really good Ohio State defensive unit. JT has great size. At 6'4", 270 pounds, I think it makes him a pretty versatile piece on the defensive line. He played a lot of 4-3 edge rusher, and he showcased what he can do there, but I think he could also play 3-4 end. He has excellent size and great body control as well. It never felt like he was off balance or struggled to really gain leverage, and he maintains good stature when rushing the quarterback. He also has a very good stance, and he plays low to the ground, generating power from his lower body, and he plays with a lower pad height, which you guys know I love to see. Tuimoloau is powerful. He has violent hands and has a deadly bull rush. He has an extremely quick first step and has great burst off the line of scrimmage. His upper body strength is phenomenal. You see time and time again where he is pushing the tackle back into the pocket, and that is how he is able to generate so much of his pressure. A lot of it is generated off of his pure strength, and he is a power rusher at its core, and it is something to watch. When he is on, it is a beautiful thing to see. Lastly, JT showed the ability to drop back into coverage every now and then, which was honestly pretty surprising for a player of his size, but he did a pretty solid job. Obviously, he wasn't matching up in one-on-one situations with the running back down the field, but he showed the ability to kind of drop into zone coverage every now and then, and he did a pretty good job of reading the quarterback's eyes, and he showed some upside there, so I was pretty impressed by that. There are some glaring issues for me when it comes to Tuimolau's game, and the first is his consistency. While he has had a much more consistent season in 2023, it still hasn't been up to par with some of these other guys in the class. We talked about his numbers in 2022, however, a lot of those numbers came in the game against Penn State, where he was an absolute wrecking ball that game, and a lot of his numbers came strictly off of that game. Like I said, his high upside moments are incredible, but he just can't seem to piece it all together and consistently give us those moments, which does concern me a little bit. I also feel he has a lack of pass rush moves. He showcased a spin every now and then, but other than that, it didn't feel like he had a very large arsenal of moves that he could utilize to get to the quarterback. A simple swim move or the ability to get skinny would go a long way for him and might even push him up my board a little bit. Lastly, JT is not the greatest run defender in the world. He struggles to attack at the right angles, and he does not make many big plays in the run game. This is an area that I definitely can see him improve upon, but again, it's just a consistency issue in an area that I would like to see improve with him. Despite the areas of concern, I still think he could be a really good player. I think in an edge class that doesn't have a ton of standout stars, he has some of the highest potential of anyone if he can piece it all together. He is my number 6 edge rusher in the class and my number 50 overall player. In terms of a scheme fit, we touched on it a bit earlier. I think he could play just about anywhere on your defensive line. A majority of his snaps came in that 4-3 edge position that Ohio State ran, lined up over the tackle, and he showed some promise there. I think he could slide in and play a role on any defense, but he would be best suited in a similar role to what he did at Ohio State, where he can get the one-on-one matchups and he is able to generate that power, push the tackle back, and make life very difficult for the quarterback. He is an elite power rusher, and in one-on-one situations, I think he could be really hard to stop. So I think a 4-3 edge is exactly where he would fit at the next level. My player comparison for jttuimoloau is Brandon Graham. I know Brandon Graham is an Eagles legend and he has had an incredible career for himself, but they both have very big frames off the edge with great burst and power. Overall, there's a lot of similarities in their game, and I think if JT can pan out to the way that we think he can and he can reach his max potential, I think he could look a lot like a prime Brandon Graham, so that's going to be my player comparison for him. jttuimoloau is a wrecking ball. He has some of the most jaw-dropping plays you'll see, and if he can be more consistent and piece everything together in his game, he could be an absolute stud at the next level. Ultimately, I believe jttuimoloau will be a top 50 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft.